I love living and working in the countryside, and we've got lots of space around the house. I live in the house that I was born in. And one of the wonderful creatures on the farm, in fact, my favourite farm animal, has got to be the sheepdog. And I've got a pack of 4 dogs here. They're all a little bit different. Gwen, here. This is Gwen, my new sheepdog. And then we've got Olive. Olive is a Hungarian wire-haired Vizsla, and she's really, really lovely, gorgeous. They call them Velcro dogs because they just want to stick to you. They want to be with you all the time. And then 2 naughty little dogs, miniature wire-haired Dachshunds. I always get told off for not pronouncing that correctly. This one is Minnie, and Minnie is about 4 years old. She's really lovely. And then the latest one, who's about 8 months old, is Hilda. And they're a bit different. They're wire-haired, so the Dachshund comes smooth-haired, long-haired and wire-haired. And they were once known as a tackle, so it was actually a badger dog. They used to go down holes. And they've got amazing scent with their little noses. They can follow the scent of a deer or a squirrel or a pheasant. Quite difficult to control, so the recall, getting them to come back to you, is challenging. Anyway, I take them out every morning, take them for a walk, give them some fresh air, let them go to the loo, and then pop them back in the house, and then I'll take Gwen off to work. When you're with dogs, they're part of your life. They're with you every day. I absolutely adore them. I think they're really good things to have by your side. You come in from a hard day's work and the dog's full of happiness and it comes up to you, you can give it a cuddle. So it's really good for mental health, really. But it's very sad when they go, when you lose them. And that day will come when they get old and they get infirm, and you, as their dog owner, have to make the decision to say goodbye. And my dog that I had a few weeks ago, Peg, that I'd had for about 10 years, I got her when she was 4. I had her for 10 years. She was a very, very good working dog, very much part of my life working on the farm. And she had become blind and infirm, and eventually I had to say goodbye. And I had her put down and buried her on the farm, along with all the other dogs that I've said goodbye to over the years, which in total is 9 now. So it never gets any easier. And Peg, to me, was absolutely wonderful. I got her from a guy called Steve Barry, who sadly passed away, and his family took Peg on and wanted her to go to a good working home. And at the time, I was looking for a trained dog. I wanted a bitch, a female, to fit in with all our other bitches on the farm. Introducing a dog could have caused chaos. Anyway, I took Peg on at about 4 years old, so she was perfect for me. But the knack then was to get her to bond to me so that she would work with me, so that she'd feel part of the pack, rounding up those animals. And she bonded with me really quickly. We struck up a really strong relationship. I absolutely adored her. And of course, working on television, working on Countryfile, I would have her on the television rounding up sheep, getting her to put the sheep through the gate 2 or 3 times while I got my words wrong. And she was so patient and so good and very robust, and would allow the people to put the camera right in her face, and she didn't seem to mind. The rams are very brave and they'll sometimes face the dog, but she's braver than they are, so she'll nip their noses if they're very naughty, but just don't want that to happen, so I'd have to just keep her away from them slightly, just keep her backed off. She was a very hairy dog, and so working in the summer, she'd get very hot, but just used to jump into the water troughs, plunge in, and then cool herself down, which was absolutely great. When I took Peg on, I didn't know a huge amount about her, apart from she was a very well-trained sheepdog. And I didn't know whether she was house-trained, so whether she would mess indoors. She was a kennel dog, so I put her in the kennel here and she was absolutely fine and very well behaved. But I took her filming with me, and I didn't want to leave her in the back of my pickup truck in case she got stolen. So I had her in my bedroom in the hotel where we were staying. And of course we went out for an evening meal, and I left her in my bedroom with a bowl of water and her bed that she would sleep on, not knowing whether she would just mess all over the bedroom and rip my pillow to pieces. And I came back and she was just led in the corner in her bed, and she got up and said hello, completely unperturbed by being left on her own. I then went to bed and was asleep, and then halfway through the night, her little nose came under my chin and was just nestling under my chin, and I gave her a little stroke, told her to get back in her bed, and she went and settled down. And then I filmed with her the next day. And the next day we were on the coast, and I didn't know whether she'd ever seen the sea. And she got really excited about running on the sand and going into the waves, which was a wonderful opportunity, lovely memories of the time I spent with her. She was a very sweet dog. And I remember out in the snow as well, rounding up sheep and getting them out of the snowdrifts, and she was fantastic at sort of plunging through the deep snow and working with me. A really lovely character that was a great friend, and I'll miss her.